It's June, which means it is So Fruity Month. That is a challenge that I always try and participate in. Sometimes I manage to finish my desired items within the deadlines, sometimes not, and this year will probably be no exception, but I do have plans and I want to share them with you. I have a giant pile of predominantly lemon-based fabrics here, although the first one I have got to show you is this Rifle Paper Company Primavera orange print viscose. I have made a dress out of this during a previous So Fruity challenge. I think it was probably 3 years ago, possibly, yeah, 3 years ago, I think. I love that dress, and I had 6 meters of this fabric and I've probably got just over a meter and a bit left. So I want to make some kind of shirt from this because, as you've seen, I have a dress which is lovely. I don't have enough to do pretty much anything else with this kind of fabric other than a top. So I thought a little tie front shirt would be the way to go. I'm thinking it's going to be sleeveless, probably because I won't have enough fabric for anything else, but also the dress that I've made does have kind of very full and voluminous sleeves with little ties on them. So I like the idea of having a sleeveless version or a sleeveless garment in this fabric to wear on other occasions. So some kind of shirt from this. There are quite a few top fabrics in the pile that I've just shown you that I am going to try and do a tutorial on how to add a tie to a regular shirt, cropped shirt or dress pattern so that you can turn your favorite shirt dress like the 9345 into a tie front shirt, which is a hack that I did ages ago and I absolutely love how it's turned out, and I've made loads of them. So I'm gonna hopefully attempt a sew along or a hack along for that modification. Then I have some chambray. There is not a lot of this. I have this garment saved on Pinterest and I really like how this looks. I kind of think it's like the top is like sort of like the top of the Anna dress or Anna top that I really like, but the bottom part obviously is a midriff and gathers rather than tucks. So I'm not 100% sure what pattern I'm going to use to make this up. I'm not sure if I'm going to add the pearls and the gems on at the shoulders. I do like them, but I can also imagine them being incredibly annoying if I want to wear a bag, because I do prefer a bag with a shoulder strap. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe some flat gems possibly, of which I do have some, but yes, I've had this remnant for a very long time. I really like the colour and there is enough, I'm hoping, for a little top like that. I have another chambray remnant that's been in the stash for a very long time, and all of these blue pieces are coming out of the Anaconda Anthesis collection that I have a video about up here. Also, there is like an updated version of like how to progress a capsule collection once you've made your core pieces. This has been in that cubbyhole for a long time, and again it's going to be some form of tie front shirt. Now I made a tie front shirt with long sleeves out of a chambray that was a little bit lighter than this one last month and I really like it, but I want to make this one with the little cap sleeves that I steal from the La Carla dress. I will have a picture on screen and I will link to the dress itself in the description down below. There is another image, this one that I found on Pinterest, and I absolutely love how that top looks. I appreciate that the plans that I have are not going to be exactly the same, but I do like the kind of just extra detail at the shoulders that that one has, which is completely integral to the pattern. But I think adding those La Carla cap sleeves on will give me the kind of look that I like with this fabric, and it's going to be nice to have a sleeveless version as well as the long sleeve version that I finished last month. Another shirting fabric, this time it is this pinstripe that I got from All Your Textiles on the Goldhawk Road years and years ago, and I bought enough to do the Dirando Brouillé shirt, which I do really like, but the couple that I've made I just don't wear often. I have probably made them in fabrics and colours that weren't perfect for me, but the shape I don't think works for me either. I love the top part of the Brouillé, and I did try and make the last one with a slightly longer bottom half to make it more like a mini dress, and that was okay, but it's not the kind of thing that I enjoy wearing. So I'm going to pivot fit with this fabric, and I want to do something like this Pinterest image. Now I already have the skirt, and technically I have a shirt that's similar, but I really like the idea of this pinstripe with the check of the skirt. So I'm going to do another tie front shirt with long sleeves, and I'm going to make the sleeves big enough that they can be rolled back like they are in the image, and then have the little button tabs on them so that you can make them stay rolled up. I really like that look. So that's what this shirting is going to be. Onto the lemon prints. The first one I have is 5 meters of this, what I think is polyester fabric that I got from Spotlight Fabrics, and it's all going everywhere because of course it is. This fabric that I got from Spotlight years ago. I got 3 different fabrics sent to lovely Claire, and she smuggled them over when she and her husband came for a visit. Spotlight at the time didn't really have any information about what this fabric was made from. It just had the print and the fact that it was sort of semi-sheer, so I fell in love because it's really, really pretty. It is sort of semi-sheer. I think it's got lilies, bananas and lemons all over it, so it does qualify for the So Fruity challenge, and it's one of those fabrics that has survived in my stash for the longest time because I absolutely love the print. Now you guys know I hate wearing polyester, so I have a plan for this. I am going to do a double circle skirt. I have 5 meters of this. I think that the overall print is going to look really pretty in that much volume of skirt, and also this fabric is lightweight enough that it's not going to be too sticky outy unless I put a petticoat under it, which I can do. I'm going to line it with some viscose that I have from the fabric room. I bought 20 meters last year at some point, and I still have about half of that left, and it is purposely bought for linings for this sort of thing. So I'm going to do a full circle skirt lining with a double circle skirt over the top, and possibly a McCalls 7289 to kind of tie everything together. I think this is going to look really cool with all of the shirts and tops that I've shown you. Maybe not the orange print one, but the plainer fabrics and the pinstripe one I think it's going to look really good with. But I would also like to have some kind of like, I like the idea of a matching top for this, so it sort of looks like a dress, but the 7289 is, I think, something that I will be able to tolerate in polyester because it's not something that goes directly next to my skin. So if there is enough left, that's the plan for this fabric. And like I say, I've got 5 meters of it and I've made a massive mess of it, so it's now just a big bunch of fabric. But yeah, double circle skirt with this. I have a feeling this is going to be an absolute pig to work with because, as I say, polyester, so it's not going to press well. It's really shifty and slippery, so it's going to be a nightmare to cut out, but I do have a giant cutting out table which Dad built for me 4 years ago now, so I will make it work. Next up is a fabric that is going to be a sew along, and it is this viscose linen from Sew Me Sunshine. I have 5 meters of it and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I am going to do the Vogue 9182. I have been promising you guys a sew along for this for ages. The Picture on Peeps voted for it, and I have made one up in the fabric that they voted for, and I do love the dress. I'm not sure about the fabric. I think the fabric's the wrong colours for me. I think they're too cool toned. I don't really wear it very often, but I did put it on the other day and it is a gorgeous dress. So I think it needs to be made up in a fabric that I like, and as I say, I owe you guys a sew along. I have changed a few things about this dress. I have raised up the back neckline because I did want this to be a layering piece so that I could possibly use it in the cooler months. I'm not sure that this fabric is appropriate for that, but I'm gonna leave the higher back neckline in, and I will show you the tweaks that I made to the pattern to get that to work for me. It can also be really good because this is it's a scoop front and scoop back. Those kinds of dresses, if they're not fitted perfectly, sometimes the straps can fall off and have a tendency to kind of want to wander away. So having a slightly higher back neckline gives them more structure and it means that they won't just disappear off your shoulders. So if you do have sloping shoulders, for example, it could be a good change to make to a pattern like this. So yes, 9182 sew along. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm probably going to have enough to make some kind of a shirt for this as well. I like the idea of that. I'll probably do one with, I would imagine, probably flutter sleeves like I have on this Deer and Doe Magnolia, because the dress is going to be sleeveless, so I like the idea of having something a little more covering to wear over the top if I want to. That is something that I like to do, as you guys know. So yeah, that's what this one's going to be. Next we have the McCalls 8177, and this is part of my Make 9 plans. I have had this fabric for a very long time. I got it from fabric.com. Got it when we were in the previous house, so it's been in the stash for a long time. I've got 6 yards of it, so I know that I'm going to end up with some leftover. I'm not sure what I want to do with the leftover fabric from the 8177. I possibly will make another little shirt to tie over the top. I have made a bright green denim skirt that would look epic with this shirt and the other shirts that I'm talking about. I've got my dark denim skirt that's going to look really good with all of these. I have got options of wearing a shirt, but I might have enough for another dress. So I'm not 100% sure what the remnants of this is going to be, but at least some of it is going to be the 8177 because I love this dress. I'm going to fully line this fabric because I'm not sure if you can see, but it is fairly sheer and you can see the shadowing of the print through the background colour. So it definitely needs a lining of some description. And I'm going to show you how I go about lining a dress like this, where not that you would want to line the full dress in the full fabric because that would be really like a waste of the pretty fabric, and so I'm going to use a ivory viscose like I am with the polyester skirt, but I don't want that white viscose to show over the top, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to tweak the pattern to have, fingers crossed, a lining that doesn't end up with any white bits poking around the top but also doesn't have any shadowing through, because this fabric, as you can see, does do that quite easily. That's the plan for this one. I have a lot of plans for June. Lots of these are fairly simple dresses and skirts and shirts, so fingers crossed I can get this done. We shall see. I do have a new to me pattern. It's the Vogue 1551. The very lovely Debbie was wearing her version of this at the sewing retreat I did earlier in April and May, and it looked absolutely gorgeous on her, and I thought, oh, I have that pattern and I've not made it up yet. And I have another polyester fabric. This one I got from Pula in Croatia, and it was in the remnants bin, and it's kind of like a panel print. It's got lemons on it, but it's got these kind of like florals, and then it's got really big spaces of like nothing, and it is fairly sheer. I think it's polyester. I haven't done the burn test on this one. I will do. I really love this. I think it's absolutely beautiful, so I think this is going to make an epic version of this. I'm not 100% sure exactly how much is here. I can't remember. I think it was sort of 2.8 meters, and this says that it needs slightly more than that, so I may have to do the underskirt in a different fabric, possibly the viscose, the solid viscose, but that means that I could line the bodice in the solid viscose as well, so I wouldn't end up with too much polyester next to my skin. I'm probably going to end up changing the sleeves on this as well because I don't overly, oh mind you, they're quite big, so maybe I will get away with it. I'll have to have a look at the pattern and see what the finished garment measurements are for the sleeves on the pattern, but yes, I would like to get this used because it's been in the stash for ages. The last time we went to Pula was 2019, so it's been around for a while and definitely deserves to be something. And again, as a cover up and being polyester, it's not going to be directly next to my skin as it would be if it was a dress. So I think the Zandra Rose pattern is a good idea for this very pretty print. I have one more. You guys have seen this before. It is the Lady McElroy Bright Side of Life. They've actually sold out of this colorway, but they do still have the black colorway. I will link to it in the description down below. I have 3 meters here, which was actually gift from Lady McElroy quite a few years ago. They're having an amazing sale on at the moment. I think their fabrics are around about £4 per meter, which is kind of unheard of. So I went back and I bought more. I bought the last of the ivory colorway of the Bright Side of Life. So I actually in total have around about 9 meters here, which is a lot. But I'm really happy about this because I want to do something very similar to the black dress that I made from this fabric. fabric, which was a tiered and gathered skirt with a grey bodice on it, so a very strappy sundress, very D&G. I used every single scrap of that 3 meters of fabric that I had. I would have really liked to get a shirt to wear over the top because the grey bodice is a very cleavage-tastic dress. A very lovely subscriber sent me a gift voucher to buy more of it, and instead I bought Red Wool suiting with that gift voucher. So I'm really pleased that I've got more of this. I am going to do something similar with this ivory colorway. I'm on a tiered and gathered skirt, but I'm going to go for a slightly longer one than I usually do. Because I have so much fabric, I'm going to go for a slightly floofier one than I usually do, and I'm really excited to see how that's going to turn out. There will be a little shirt to go over the top, and depending on how much I have left after that, possibly some kind of, not necessarily pajamas because we know that I don't wear pajamas, but I do like having pretty loungewear to wear, so some kind of pajama-esque trousers that are comfy to wear down here in the sewing room when I'm working, that aren't a really thick fabric like the jogging bottoms that I love and wear frequently. So yes, that's what this 9 meters of fabric is going to get turned into. And as if that wasn't enough, I have one, well, technically two, but the same fabric in just 2 different colorways. I have a McCalls 7289 cut out of this. It's right there and it's just about to get sewn up. And then I have about 1 meter of the yellow colorway left. I have already made a 7289 from this fabric, and so I want to have a play around with what I've got left. There are some decent-ish size offcuts from this ivory. I had 1 meter of that one, but like I say, 2 meters of this. So there's a decent chunk left there. I'm thinking possibly some kind of sweater vest, possibly some kind of very loose jumper, because whilst it is a knit, it's not overly stretchy, so it can't be anything like the Sheridan sweater, which needs a good amount of stretch in it. So I'm not 100% sure what these are going to get turned into yet, but I would like to use them because I am trying to go through and use up every single scrap that I possibly can before I turn the very tiny remnants of fabric into dragon stuffing for future soft toys that I would like to make. That's a lot of plans. Which ones are you looking forward to? Do you think I have picked the right project for the right fabric? I am really excited about this entire pile. I think it's going to look really pretty. I am going to prioritize the ones that are sew-alongs or tutorials, but the other ones, as I say, are all TNTs and I can do fairly quickly, so fingers crossed I can get the majority of these done. I am so looking forward to showing you my lookbook at the end of June, and fingers crossed I can get some images up on Instagram in time for the end of the Sew Fruity challenge. Wish me luck. If you've enjoyed this video, you might want to check out this one here.